Warning, the audio quality of this video is poor. I film it raw. That means there is no cuts. There are no cuts, as you can see. And the video quality is terrible because it's an old video camera. So bear with me. Unless you want to Patreon me or Patreon or whatever is it, that's what you're going to get. So consider yourself warned. I hope the quality of the conversation, and I mean conversation because you can post below what you think and we can have a conversation, I hope, not a monologue. Bear with me. Okay, so consider yourself warned, blah, 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 yada, yada. Now, this topic specifically is why I left academia. Yes. A little of my academic background before we can continue, so you can see I'm just not bubbling out of nonsense. I have first entered arts, and if you think arts is easy, in the country that I was, you had to do a test that would include, like it was a weekend battery of all the things you ever studied in your life, and Portuguese, English, mathematics, physics, biology, everything, social studies and all that. So you could have a chance to get into a university, and in that specific university I was number 16 out of 3,000 students, over 3,000 students. I counted only to 3,000 and I stopped counting, who applied to get into that university, and my name was right there in the newspapers. So that meant that 15 rich kids probably paid to get in before me. I kid. Probably only 10. Someone has to fund the university, right? Anywho, jokes apart, it was not easy for me to get into art study. Because of the rules of that specific country. So, because in the US, I know, like, they offer university places nowadays, like a pusher for drugs to kids. Hey kids, want to try something new? It's going to do you good. It's going to be good for you. Anyway, that was my first. After that, I studied economics, and I studied multimedia and design after that, and I studied theology. So this is my academic background. This is what I know in terms of alma maters. Modern one. And while in there, in my last years in there, I also, I was teaching Latin. My name was on the list at least. And I had been invited to fulfill the position as an assistant to start, but because the head of the department, actually was basically the only guy there, who knew anything about Portuguese, head of the department was about to retire, and he needed someone to fill those very heavy shoes. And I had been invited to become his assistant and to be prepared to that position when the day come. What never happened because of what I'm going to say. Perhaps my notion of academia is mistaken, or maybe not. Perhaps I'm an idealist who just had a wrong idea about why anyone should be anyhow related to academia. I don't think I am. For now, nobody managed to actually prove me wrong. I already had a couple of issues with things I heard, and so it was not just like that. Debate was technically impossible because emotions were used and it made no sense. So nonsense kind of ruled the fields. Actually, oddly enough, not in arts. I was positively impressed by the academic skills and academic knowledge of the field. There was no biggie there. Um, the teachers knew, and actually it was beautiful to see the teachers, professors, lambasting the art students who were just giggling away and when they needed to present a project, and that was a big no-no. You're going to live out of this fucking thing. You think you are here for fun just because your parents fund you? That were the professors in arts, folks. I'm not kidding you. They weren't afraid of anything. Unlike what I saw in the other fields, actually. Not so much in the economics, but except the Keynesians. So there was one day, one beautiful day in class. I was still a student though, with a brilliant future in academia. But one day I was in class after several disappointments, like the inconsistency of the debates and everything. But fair enough, let me just get this done with so I can actually be in that position. I can just tell people to shut up. Because authority. But anyway, which would be extremely wrong. But at least, since that seemed to be the only thing that would shut someone up to actually listen, I bared the load until that day, that specific day, where there were two professors and they were talking some gibberish, and somebody in class pointed out that it was basically gibberish. To which one of the professors actually replied, in loud and good tone, "You are not here to learn anything. You are here to be indoctrinated." And the other teacher, well, I call them teachers because you understand, like, I went through an extensive process after that, two kind of process, what went on in academia and why I left it. And my Freudian slip here actually explains how I perceive them, how my conscious perceives those people. They're not professors. They're kind of school teachers, and they are so confident of their power in academia that they can just say that. And no, it was not meant as a joke, as one of my friends suggested. No, it was not a joke. It was their compelling argument. Wow. Let that sink in. You can see I'm getting red. Well, I looked at the scene. I had some military training, and certain skills don't die out, and I can see what is going on. Well, that professor said that. The other professor was looking at the students and taking notes of who would react and how they would react. I know the drill. I've been in politics. I've been in those subversive political parties and all. I know what was going on there, and what he said was pretty much true. He was saying that the other one was there only to take note of the reaction of the students more than anything else. Well, those who know me, and I stood up, picked my things, and left the class. And that's how I left academia. Because, if anything, I refuse to be indoctrinated. I want to learn things. And since I'm not there to learn things, to learn anything, those were the words, to learn nothing but to be indoctrinated, I refuse to do so. Sure, I don't get a fancy diploma. I don't get a good grade, whatever that means. I don't get to be pampered by people who stab me in the back the first chance they had, because either I said something that doesn't comply to the rules or not. I left. I cannot care less about something that claims to be about learning that is not about learning at all. And if this is the best argument, if that is even an argument for a professor, a professor, I quit. And so should everybody else. I mean, they already get students hooked into loans that will force them to work based on current laws we have. Laws can only change, folks. Remember that. Laws can only change. And that's what they are good for. Use that. Use that. Think about that little sentence there. Okay? People are being fooled into academia today in useless studies that won't help them at all, that won't give them anything, unless they are part of either a religious or political group. Unless they are part of those two, they will get nothing. Oh, they will get a loan. They will get a debt. They will get a debt that will plague them for the rest of their lives, and they are in deep trouble. They just don't know it. Why? Because we are running in an old, archaic system that doesn't work anymore. If it ever worked, it doesn't work. Currently being meant to fool people into debt. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace what is going on in academia. And I refuse to be a part of it. I had a brilliant future in it, but I refuse it. Now you know.